Humans, man, what a strange species. They think they're the center of the universe, yet half of them can't even find their car keys in the morning. These are the same people who believe they're the most intelligent beings on the planet. A planet, by the way, they can't stop destroying while bragging about how advanced they are. Humans walk around with their little rectangles of light poking at them all day, convinced they're controlling technology when, in reality, technology's the one controlling them. You ever noticed that? They say my phone died. No, it didn't die. It just got tired of your nonsense and took a break. The human ego is the biggest show on Earth. It's a 24-hour broadcast of self-importance. People actually believe the universe has a plan for them. Like out of 200 billion galaxies, some cosmic entity is sitting up there thinking, hey, I wonder if Jeff got that promotion. These are the same people who can't figure out how to recycle properly, who spill coffee on themselves before work, and who think astrology explains their bad behavior. I'm not rude, I'm just a Scorpio. No, you're rude because you're rude. The stars didn't make you a jerk. You did that all on your own. Human beings built religions, governments, and corporations. 3 of the biggest scams ever sold, all to make themselves feel important. They made up gods who look like them, laws that favor them, and products they don't need to impress people they don't like. The whole species is a comedy routine that never ends. They call themselves irrational animals, yet they spend their lives chasing imaginary numbers in bank accounts and killing each other over imaginary lines on maps. You ever think about that? Borders. Invisible lines humans drew in dirt and decided were worth dying for. The planet doesn't care where your country ends. It doesn't even know what a country is. Humans brag about their intelligence, but their biggest accomplishment is inventing weapons powerful enough to wipe out their own species. They created machines that can destroy cities faster than they can build a playground. They say they're civilized, but their idea of civilization involves strip malls, traffic jams, and reality TV. Their idea of progress is building faster phones so they can send stupid messages even faster. And then they wonder why everyone's stressed, anxious, and depressed. Maybe because they turn life into one long commercial break. And then there's the education system, the great human factory. They send their kids to school to learn how to memorize things they'll never use, so they can get jobs they'll eventually hate, to buy things they don't need, to impress people who don't care. And after all that, they still believe they're the smartest species around. Meanwhile, dolphins communicate with clicks and whistles and have never started a war. Bees build perfect hexagonal structures without a single blueprint. Ants organize complex societies without money, politics, or religion. Humans are the smart ones because they invented TikTok. Humans like to think they're explorers, thinkers, philosophers. But most of them are just consumers. Walking, talking advertisements. They don't live, they shop. They buy bottled water, Wi-Fi subscriptions, and spiritual enlightenment in weekend retreats. They've even commercialized happiness. And buy this to feel good about yourself. They can't sit still for 5 minutes without checking their phones because they're terrified of silence. Silence reminds them they're not that important. And that's the real fear. The idea that the universe might not care whether they exist or not. They build skyscrapers, worship celebrities, and think hashtags can save the world. They're proud of their species because they went to the moon once 50 years ago. Meanwhile, they can't even keep their oceans clean. Humans think they own Earth, but they're more like tenants who don't pay rent, throw parties every night, and set the furniture on fire. They think they're improving the planet with their innovation, but the only thing they've innovated is finding new ways to mess it up. Plastic in the ocean, smog in the air, fake news in the mind. Congratulations, humanity, you've polluted every dimension of existence. And still they say, we're the greatest species. Greatest at what? Destroying their own habitat? Believing in nonsense? Pretending everything's fine while the world burns? That's not greatness, that's delusion. But it's entertaining. You gotta admit, if there's any intelligent life out there watching us, they must be laughing their alien heads off. Earth is probably the galaxy's favorite reality show. A look at those humans. They invented nuclear bombs before they learned how to get along. It's cosmic comedy at its finest. Humans think they're running the show, but they're just guests here. Temporary, loud and messy. They're not the main act, they're the blooper reel. Nature's biggest joke. And the punchline is that they actually think they're in control. They build monuments, write history books, and name things after themselves, but in a few million years, no one will remember. The Earth will shake them off like a bad case of fleas and keep spinning like nothing happened. So yeah, humans are the center of the universe, at least in their own heads. But from where the universe is standing, they're just background noise. A brief, noisy experiment in arrogance and stupidity. But hey, they're entertaining, and that's worth something. Because if there's one thing humans are truly great at, it's making the universe laugh. Nature doesn't need saving. It's humans who need an eviction notice. Every time you hear someone say, "We need to save the planet," it's like watching a house cat try to fix the plumbing. The planet doesn't need you, buddy. It's been spinning for 4.5 billion years without your advice. It survived meteors, ice ages, volcanoes, and mass extinctions. You think a few plastic bottles and SUVs are going to take it down? No, the planet will be just fine. It'll shake humans off like a bad case of dandruff and keep doing what it's always done. Adapting, evolving, and moving on. It's funny how humans have this idea that Earth is fragile. No, the Earth isn't fragile. You are. The planet can handle anything. It can grow jungles out of deserts and turn cities into fossils. Give it time and it'll cover your skyscrapers with moss, turn your highways into rivers, and let the trees take back what's theirs. Humans think they're caretakers, but they're really just tenants. Noisy, destructive tenants who never learned how to clean up after themselves. You don't save your landlord's house after you trashed it. You get kicked out. When humans say they're protecting nature, what they really mean is they're trying to protect their comfort. They want the air to stay breathable, the food to stay edible, and the climate to stay mild enough for their little shopping malls and golf courses. It's not about saving the Earth. It's about saving themselves from the consequences of their own stupidity. Because deep down they know they screwed up. They cut down forests, poisoned rivers, and then built bottled water companies to sell back the clean water they destroyed. Brilliant species, huh? And yet they keep pretending to be heroes. They post pictures of themselves planting one tree after cutting down 1,000. They hold Earth Day once a year like it's some kind of apology card to nature. Oh, sorry we ruined everything, but look, we picked up trash for an hour. The arrogance is staggering. The Earth doesn't care about your hashtags or eco-friendly slogans. It doesn't need your approval to keep spinning. When the humans are gone, nature will quietly erase their mistakes. One day, the forests will crawl over the ruins of the cities. Animals will return to the empty suburbs. The oceans will wash over the highways. Coral reefs will grow on what used to be parking lots. The air will clear, the rivers will sing again, and the only trace of humanity will be a few fading plastic ghosts buried in the dirt. That's not tragedy. That's balance. That's nature doing what it's always done, cleaning up after the mess. So when humans say save the planet, maybe they should stop pretending they're the hero of the story. They're not the savior. They're the punchline. The planet isn't waiting for them to fix it. It's waiting for them to leave. The planet will be fine. It's the people who are doomed. That's the part humans never seem to grasp. Every time something goes wrong, climate change, pollution, deforestation, they act like the Earth is on life support. But the Earth doesn't need life support, humans do. The planet doesn't care if it's covered in ice, lava, or skyscrapers. It just keeps spinning. Humans are the ones panicking, building air conditioners to fight their own weather, and pretending they can outsmart nature. They think they're saving the Earth. But the truth is, the Earth is just waiting for them to disappear so it can start healing. People talk about the end of the world like it's coming soon. Sorry to break it to you. The world isn't ending, just your lease on it. The planet's been through way worse than humans. It's seen mass extinctions, cosmic impacts, and continents tearing apart like old wallpaper. You think your plastic bags are a problem? Earth has swallowed entire species without blinking. It's seen dinosaurs rule for millions of years and then, poof, gone without a single protest or recycling campaign. And yet it survived. It always does. The only thing truly in danger is a species arrogant enough to think it's in charge. Humans strut around like landlords of the planet, but they're more like unwanted guests who showed up late, trashed the place, and started arguing about who owns the furniture. They think they're masters of nature, but nature is just letting them play pretend. Every now and then it reminds them who's boss. A hurricane here, an earthquake there, maybe a nice pandemic to shake things up. And every time, humans act shocked, like the universe broke some sort of promise. How could this happen? Because you're temporary, that's how. Nature doesn't owe you stability. It was here long before you, and it'll be here long after you've turned back into dust. The funniest part is how people keep inventing new ways to destroy themselves. They create technology to make life easier, but somehow it makes them more miserable. They build bombs that can end civilization in minutes and then act surprised when everyone's nervous. They invent industries that poison their air and oceans, then blame the politicians, who, by the way, are just other humans making the same dumb choices in fancier suits. It's like watching a comedy show written by fools who think they're geniuses. The planet isn't doomed. It's laughing. Look around. People are addicted to things that are slowly killing them. Their food, their gadgets, their lifestyles. They sit in cars spewing poison into the sky, drive to gyms to run on machines that go nowhere, and then spend the rest of the day staring at screens to escape from the lives they built. This isn't progress. It's slow motion extinction with better marketing. They think they're advancing civilization, but all they're really doing is speeding up the timeline for their own expiration date. The planet's watching patiently, like a teacher waiting for a student to finally fail the test so class can end. You ever notice how humans talk about us saving future generations? They can't even take care of the present one. They act like the world belongs to their grandchildren, but they're too busy selling it off piece by piece. Forests are being replaced with parking lots. Oceans are full of trash. And the air smells like burnt ambition. But don't worry, they've got electric cars now. Because nothing says environmental consciousness like plugging your pollution into the wall instead of the tailpipe. Meanwhile, nature doesn't need permission to hit the reset button. It just waits. A few more degrees hotter, a few more floods, a few more species gone, and eventually the system will balance itself out. Humans will call it tragedy. The planet will call it spring cleaning. Maybe a new species will show up, something smarter, quieter, less self-obsessed. Maybe the cockroaches will finally get their turn. They've been waiting patiently for millions of years, watching humans build and burn everything. And when humanity's gone, the roaches will crawl out of the ashes and say, well, that was entertaining. Humans think extinction is the worst thing that can happen, but the Earth doesn't see it that way. Extinction is just evolution's way of making room for something new. The planet isn't sentimental. It doesn't care about monuments, borders, or Wi-Fi. It doesn't care about your politics or your profits. All those little systems humans built to make themselves feel important, gone in an instant. One strong earthquake and your entire civilization becomes a documentary narrated by cockroaches. The truth is, humans were never really in charge. They just told themselves a nice story about being special. They believed they were chosen. By God, by destiny, by whatever myth made them feel powerful. But nature doesn't play favorites. It's patient, efficient, and ruthless. It gives life, takes it back, and keeps the cycle going. Humans like to imagine they'll leave some kind of legacy. But in a few thousand years, the only trace left will be a few bits of plastic floating in the ocean, and maybe a metal skeleton of what used to be a city. The planet will keep rolling along, shaking off whatever remains. The forests will grow again, the air will clear, and the oceans will reclaim the coastlines. The earth will heal because that's what it does. It doesn't need applause. It doesn't need humans. It's been fine for billions of years and will be fine for billions more. The real joke is that humans thought they could destroy it. The only thing they ever really destroyed was themselves, loudly, proudly, and with great entertainment value. So when you step back and look at the big picture, it's almost poetic. The most intelligent species on the planet spends all its time proving how dumb it can be. Humans thought they were the masters of nature, the chosen caretakers of Earth, the grand architects of civilization. But really, they've just been the punchline to a cosmic joke. A temporary spark that burned too bright and too fast. The universe doesn't hate them, it just doesn't notice them. And that's the beauty of it. Because when humanity finally packs up and leaves, the planet won't shed a tear or hold a grudge. It'll stretch, yawn, and start over like a stage resetting for the next act. The oceans will rise, the forests will sing again, and the earth will keep spinning. A little cleaner, a little quieter, and infinitely more peaceful. Humanity won't be remembered as the planet's greatest triumph, but as its funniest mistake, the one that thought it was in charge.